Hello there, everybody. I hope you're all staying cool and comfortable and safe today, especially if you're in part of the U.S. that's being affected by this major wave of heat that's going through. And I hear it's going to get worse. I actually heard on the radio today that there was a heat index in Iowa of some 125 degrees, which is probably pretty astounding for that part of the world. I certainly don't know exactly how hot it gets up there, but I'd say that's cooking pretty good. And they say it's headed this way, so things are going to get even hotter than they were. But check this out. You know what this is? Wouldn't those snowflakes be really nice right about now? Of course, I'll hate those when they come around in the winter and don't go away for weeks on end and make it possible to have vehicle crashes and slips and falls and things like that. That is condensation on the outside of the windows in this old French door that leads out to our front porch. And I can't recall that ever happening before, especially since the air conditioning in this old house doesn't really get the living room all that cold. It's about 80 degrees in here, and the air conditioning is set to around 78. Despite the fact that it's undersized for this house, it's actually been keeping up pretty well. Our actual temperature outside is presently reported to be at around 1:35 Central Standard Time. It's reported to be 96 degrees outside, and the air conditioner has been doing a pretty good job, even though it's a bit undersized. But that is pretty far out, that condensation on the outside of that glass. Just get the door open here so you can see it. There's supposed to be little storm windows on these outer French doors, but they're not in place. And it's just exactly what it looks like. I don't think I can open this one. I think it's locked right now. There you have it. A telling demonstration if there ever was one. Alright, we got the lighting turned down in here just to keep the load on the air to a minimum. But I believe today is another mail call day after my little heat advisory there. Obviously this is much better insulated than that thing over there. No sweat whatsoever on this. Well, let's see. Got something here today from YouTube user lmole3. Now I'm out of time. I have to go back to work, but I'll be back here in just a little bit, thanks to the magic of video editing, to open this crazy thing up and see what it is. Wow, is it stuffy out here. Alright, so here I go. I've come home for the day, ready to do something different and relaxing. So let's see what I've got here. From YouTube user lmole3. This is a good way to open boxes that have convertible tops and tonneau covers in them and things like that. Now, use a kitchen knife to do it. So let's see here. This is supposed to be a Pioneer 100 CD disc changer. Looks like you did a pretty nice job packaging it. Thank you for that, sir. Let's see here. Those are some interesting foam shapes. I wonder what those came out of. Let's see here, more foam shapes. And some CDs, which I have been told contain music on them. We'll get a look at those a little bit later. Should be some pretty cool stuff on there. Everybody just loves it when I mess up the living room with packaging material. Including the keykeeper, who I'm sure will be madly typing a comment the moment he hears that. Oh, and look what I found in the bottom of the box after I got the disc changer out. I don't know if these are important or not, but there's some kind of little thumb screw thingies. So if you want these, definitely speak up. And so here's everything out of the box now. You can see his Goodwill store, they had their little price sticker fixation on this thing too. Those should come off pretty easily though. No big deal. This thing looks basically brand new and was manufactured in 2002, so it's not terribly old by the standards of audio equipment, and it looks like whoever had it took pretty doggone good care of it before they surrendered it to the Goodwill, of course. Alright, so let's take a look here and see what we have. Go ahead and power it on. There's some lights in the disc carousel area. And the display comes on 1010000, which is the default display for these. Now let's talk a little bit more about that display. First thing I'll do is I'll go ahead and shut this off to get the filament lines out of the display and to clear it of any characters. That's a difference from my 25 disc versions that use this same basic display. In fact, they even have the unused hundreds character over there in the disc count. The funny thing about this display, if you look in here, you'll see that those are all 14 segment characters there. And yet Pioneer, although they were willing to pay for this display, and I'm sure it wasn't as cheap as a simple numeric only capable one, or one with limited alphabetic characters in it, most of those characters in that 14 segment section go completely unused. Yes, I realize I'm kind of weird, because I'm fascinated by the characters in displays and what the manufacturer had intended to use them for when their purpose is not entirely obvious. And speaking of such things, you will see that over here there is a very neat looking, there it is right there, question mark character, which never comes on in these 25 and 100 disc units. That's only used in the 6 disc changers. Most of the mode indications down at the bottom are used. You can see random, repeat. The only one that's not used is ADLC, and again that's on the 6 disc changers only. It's sort of an automatic leveling control that tries to even out the audio level if you're putting CDs onto a cassette tape. It's kind of nice to have, and given that I could see a lot of people using these things to transfer cassettes to CD, CDs to cassette tape, I'm surprised it wasn't implemented on any of these large disc changers. There is a reason for that display. There are actually early models of these changers that have CD text support, but once again, it seems like Pioneer was basically completely unwilling to take advantage of the display that they had paid for because the CD text support is extremely minimal. Those players are fairly uncommon, none of them are produced anymore, and whenever you see one on eBay, they tend to go for fairly big bucks. I have a 25 disc changer that is it's the PD-F908 that's capable of CD text, and the only thing that it displays is the titles off the tracks. But that display seems nice and bright. And he was also kind enough to include some music, and I would talk about what these were, but I really don't want to cause anyone trouble with the copyright police. So I'm afraid I can't discuss those very much because I just don't want to get anyone in trouble, especially since I don't really think there's anything wrong with friends sharing music with one another, or anything along those lines. But yeah, the thing made the trip in great shape. I'm sure it'll play just fine when I've got it hooked up to a stereo receiver, and I thank him for taking the time to send this thing my way. It's very much appreciated. So thank you once again, YouTube user LMole3. Now here's a neat little feature that these Pioneer disc changers have, and you can see that while there's a row of like 8 of those 14 segment characters, they're only using 4 of them to their fullest possibility, because 2 of those characters aren't even wired up. They're not even soldered down to the board. They're just floating there. Which again is kind of a silly thing to do. It almost makes you think that somebody at Pioneer really hated 14 segment displays and didn't want to use one any more than they had to. This demonstration is present in most, if not all, Pioneer CD changers, and the way you can get to it is to turn the power on, and then immediately after you've turned the power on, press the track backwards button, and if you got it, the demonstration will appear. These things will also illuminate many of the characters in the display, although not all of them, if they are completely, if the logic inside them believes that the disc changer area is completely empty, because by default it assumes that there is a disc in every slot in the changer, and until its mechanism and logic have proven otherwise, it won't think that it's completely empty. But if you do make it think that it's completely empty, and I know I'm a huge nerd for having explored this, but I don't really care, it will go ahead and illuminate many of the characters in the display, although certainly not all of them. When you're tired of the demonstration, you can go ahead and press the standby on button to turn it off, or you can simply press the stop button, at which point it will initialize and function normally.